starting out, we're starting with our latest blog post in the OneDrive tech community. So starting off, we have our newest episode of the Sync Up podcast with Stephen Rice and Arvind Mishra. They sit down with Gaia Karini to talk about one of our most popular topics, OneDrive Sync. So absolutely great insights and discussion. So please tune into the podcast either after this call or later on during your week and catch up on the previous episodes of Sync Up with other great topics that Stephen and Arvind touch base with our product teams on. We've also shared some new enhancements to the edit and grid view for document libraries. So this blog covers features that make managing your files faster and easier, a ton of great updates that are coming to your DocLibs experience. And for our Mac OS users, we also published a blog on exciting news for files on demand experiences, sharing 2 new features designed specifically for our Mac users. So a ton of great content. It'll only take about 10 minutes in total to read all 3 blogs and get caught up with the latest news. So check them out. Let us know your thoughts. And you can also use the link that's on this slide every month to get to the most recent blog posts as easy as possible and be able to look at all of the upcoming blogs that we have as well. So on January 29th, we actually hosted our first digital SharePoint event focused on the celebration of 24 years of the product and showcasing the art of what's possible in the era where SharePoint and AI is integrated. So we covered everything from SharePoint agents, AI-powered authoring capabilities to help manage and build beautiful SharePoint sites, and how you could easily automate your workflows with AI-driven processes. So we had Jeff Teeper and the product team bring you through a great experience that you can now watch on demand on the M365 YouTube channel, or you can visit our event microsite that has our live AMA, along with other great resources like our customer case studies. We have tutorials and upcoming events that we shared as well. But I think one of the points that I really wanted to showcase is we also have a 5-part learning series that covers all aspects of your SharePoint experience. So how to build and manage an agent, how to automate your processes, lists and libraries, content governance, a ton of great resources to deep dive. So basically choose your own adventure for the scaling up that you want to do. So you could check out all of those videos that are available today as well by using any of the links that you have on your screen. And at the event, we also announced our upcoming SharePoint Hackathon. So this is a 2-week experience for you to learn, design, create, and share your work using the latest SharePoint features that we announced at the event. So if you want to learn more and register today, you can visit the link aka.ms SharePoint Hackathon to get started on that. And lastly, be sure to check out and register our M365 conference happening in May 6th to the 8th in good old Las Vegas. There will be a ton of great content across M365, but of course, we have some exciting content ready for you all from OneDrive and SharePoint that you will not want to miss. So we hope to see you there. I would love to connect with everybody in person and have some great discussions around the future of our products. Now, let's get into today's agenda. So today, we will have Irfan take us through updates in our OneDrive roadmap. And then we'll segue right into our Q&A segment. So today's call is going to be an Ask Me Anything style topic where we dedicate basically the entire hour to have a great discussion and answer your questions. So as usual, we have our products team on call, ready to answer your questions. So pop them in the chat, raise your hands, and let's get the show on the road. So Irfan, I will pass it over to you to cover the roadmap.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. And hello, everyone. It's always a pleasure to be here with you all. Come here every month to learn and grow together on all things OneDrive. Here's a view of our latest roadmap. On the leftmost side, it gives you a list of all the features that we have fully shipped in the last 6 months. I want to bring your attention to a couple of them. First one is the ability to annotate PDF files with text. This feature allows you to annotate and save PDF files with text boxes when those files are stored in OneDrive or SharePoint. Users can access the annotation feature by opening the PDF file in the default file viewer and selecting edit. And this is generally available across all of our cloud instances, including GCC, GCC High. So please try it out if you have not already and let us know what you think about it. We'll love to get the feedback. And then second, you'll also now be able to view PDF with Purview information protection sensory labels on OneDrive Web. What this basically means is that OneDrive users can now open PDF files that are protected with Microsoft Purview information protection sensitive labels, and it reads them using OneDrive Web in read-only mode. So only authorized users will now be able to access these PDF files. Again, this is keeping in mind information protection and sensitivity around PDF files. So we're super excited to bring this capability to all our users. Tell us what you think. And then moving on to the next bucket of features that are coming in the next 3 months. We are bringing Copilot Q&A on images, so expanding into multimodal capabilities, as well as Q&A on meeting recordings in OneDrive Web. Super excited about those couple of things. I'll also mention a couple more here. Soon users will be able to password protect PDF files from right inside File Viewer on OneDrive Web. We're also adding some additional enhanced annotation capabilities in PDF. That is, in addition to all the text annotation that I already talked about, has been shipped. It will also bring in some point-based eraser capabilities with those enhanced annotation capabilities. And we believe that these enhancements on PDF, from password protection to enhanced annotation, will massively uplift the experience for our users that are using PDF files inside of OneDrive Web. And we look forward to your feedback. Tell us what you think, and we'll pass it along to our team and make sure that this experience is top-notch for all our users. And then finally, glancing at our last bucket of features coming in the next 6 months, I will highlight a couple here again. We are bringing a ton of Copilot features to our DocLib experience, a lot of them that you're familiar with on the OneDrive Web. I will continue to also invest in making search better for all our users with improved search suggestions, with filters and people-centric search. We're also working on making transfer ownership of files when somebody leaves the company. I think this has been a popular topic in this group, making it much more smoother and admin friendly. And last but not least, soon users will also be able to have the ability to watermark PDF files. So again, a lot of investment here on PDF files. We are super excited with all these things that you see in this. It's a packed, next 3 months and next 6 months. If you look at it, we would love to get your feedback. We would open up to Q&A right now in terms of the roadmap that you see. Tell us what you think, areas where you feel we can do better, and areas where you think this is exactly what you wanted. So we'd love to hear all that, starting with our Q&A. So I'll open up to that, and then we can open up to broad Q&A for anything that you would like to ask for all things OneDrive here. All right, we have our first hand up. Anne, please go ahead.
Hi, Irvin. Hi, Rob. My name is Anne Diamond. I work for a big educational establishment firm. I noticed in your, I think it was your October office hours, that of the unlicensed accounts, and I can't see that on your roadmap here, but do understand that there's the deadlines has now passed on the 27th of January for any unlicensed accounts. And that we are now in this transitionary period for 93 days. I sent out an email on Monday because we as an organization, we have a large amount of OneDrive accounts. And I really want you to understand today from your roadmap whether or not you are on track and that you have already enforced that deadline from the 27th of January, and that we are on course for the March for any OneDrive accounts, unlicensed OneDrive accounts, that they are going to be archived in March. I have a number of questions around this area, and I kind of want to also understand how this also impacts Microsoft SharePoint Online as well. And whether or not we're seeing the same patterns for like data retention policies, the legal hold for also SharePoint Online, because this will determine how we adopt it. And we are also looking to yourselves for best practice on how to clean up like 35,000 accounts as well. So can someone either please work with me to advise me and guide me on this roadmap item, because the challenge that we have is quite significant, and we're going to be charged an astronomical amount if we decide to put our billing details into the portal. So please, can you comment on this, and please tell me how best that we can cleanse these OneDrive accounts.
Thank you, Anne. Appreciate it. So first of all, I think your first question was around whether that's been implemented.
Yeah, been enforced on the 27th.
Correct. And we'll confirm that actually has happened. So we actually went ahead with the changes that we had talked about. In fact, we had one of our owners for that program that the product owner that implemented this was in one of OneDrive Office Hours session a couple months back. And we covered a ton of content there related to that, including a lot of questions. You mentioned, second, that there was an email that you sent to somebody. If you could just point that to me, I'll share my email address, and we can actually get you connected with the product owner that will know the most. In addition to that, Rob also shared a link in the meeting chat that goes over a lot of the same questions that you might have. There was an FAQ as well that was created specifically to answer questions on the unlicensed user account changes that were implemented. So those couple of things, if you could just send me the email, I'll share my email address in the chat here. Send forward that email to me, and I'll connect you with the right product owner on this that can give you all the answers. I think in parallel, if you could read through the blog that Rob shared in the chat, that should massively help.
I have read it, and I've read it over and over again. And the blog post that Rob has shared, it doesn't really contain of, like, it goes into the details about the lines of reporting when accounts are being held by the data retention policy. We're way past that, but essentially But what we're not getting is like the tips, the advice, the best practice on how to clean up when it's not just 5,000 accounts, it's 5,000 accounts. And with the deadline closing in, I'm looking to Microsoft, please, between you and Rob, to please guide me on how I can manage, with a small team, on how to cleanse that data before we do decide to turn on that billing.
Sounds good. We hear you. We'll love to help you, and I'm going to share my email address and then get you connected after this.
Thank you very much.
Michael, you're next.
Yeah, hello everyone. So I have the question to the roadmap item that has appeared today in the roadmap, and it is about Microsoft 365 archive file level archiving. We are hearing before that it will probably come middle this year through, let's say, unofficial channels. But now in the roadmap, it is saying that the rollout will be in July 2026. And I just wanted to ask a bit about the background, and is it really 2026, not 2025? Because we are really excited about this feature, and we really need that to utilize the M365 archive properly. And waiting 1.5 years, it seems a bit long time.
And can you confirm where you saw the date?
In the Microsoft roadmap, so I can share the link.
Sounds good. We'll confirm with the right product owner on that one to make sure that it's actually 2025, not 2026. That's a good call out. It might be a mistake. We'll confirm and get back to you on that.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Catherine, you're next.
Hi, everybody. I would just like to understand to know if I understand it right. So regarding still also the move of the unlicensed OneDrive to the archive. So I understood that. So from now on, all of the unlicensed accounts will be set to read-only in April and then move to the archive in May. And I don't see this in the link that that Rob just shared, and I just got confused. So nothing will be moved right now to the archive, right? From the unlicensed OneDrives.
So as of January 27th, all any OneDrive user account that has been unlicensed for more than, I believe, 93 days
past,
will be inaccessible to admins and end users. So that's the change that has happened. And I think there is a process in terms of what happens with the data for those unlicensed accounts, and it's sort of stored. I think it sort of goes through a period of time where if a OneDrive account becomes unlicensed on, let's say, I think in the blog it says, like, an example is August 1st, 2025, the account will be inaccessible as of October 1st, 2025. So there is a period where there's like the data will be contained, and after that it'll be moved over. If you have specific questions around how many days will it be stored versus when it will be inaccessible, the data, we can provide that offline as well, if that's the question.
Okay. I'm actually referring to this article, and you can see there the timeline. It's right at the beginning. The timeline for account unlicensed before February 17. And here it says April 25 by this date. So all unlicensed accounts will be set to read only. And from May 16, they will be archived. So for me, it means that it will, for all of the unlicensed accounts that we have on our tenant, only on May 16 will they become unavailable for the user and for the admin. So did I understand this correctly or not?
I'm not the expert on this. I don't know if there are other PMs on the call who might have more information on this one that can chime in. But what I can do here, Catherine, is I can connect you with our product manager, Trent Green, who's working on this.
I would love that.
It does say that on May 16, 2025, the unlicensed accounts are archived. So essentially not deleted or inaccessible, it's just archived. So you should be able to check back at that time to make sure that you have taken the next necessary steps to make sure the data is still retained and not deleted. So it'll be archived, not removed, is how I understand and interpret it. But we can definitely check back with you and connect you to the product manager who can answer that question for you.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank
you. Tony, you're next.
In parallel to this, the admin report in the admin center for OneDrive has been broken for, I don't know how long now, maybe 2 years. It doesn't include the actual URLs of the OneDrive locations. With that, we need this report to be two things. One, complete, so that it actually shows all OneDrives, not some 180-day period that is meaningless in the terms of a static OneDrive storage. But the reason why that's relevant now is I need that report to actually tell me the status of every single one of these OneDrives when it comes to this delicensing process. So it should tell me point blank, this thing has 29 days left. This one's been archived and is in the archive. I need that data on that report for every last single OneDrive I have. And I don't have a way to get to that information. This isn't a one-time deal. This is an ongoing management problem of this. I understood why you're making the change in terms of the product, but we can't manage it. And I'm not seeing anything on your roadmap. I'm looking at the slide that says, hey, yeah, we're going to give you the tools to actually understand this. So more to come, or am I loaded question here? You don't have an answer because you're not the right PG, or how do we do this?
So you mentioned something about, Tony, that there, on the admin center, the reporting is broken. If you could point me to the reporting that is broken, that is not working for you, we would love to learn that.
admin.microsoft.com. Yeah, admin.microsoft.com, user OneDrive, usage export. The URLs don't exist. I think there's some hidden MC article from 2 years ago saying, yeah, we don't know how to fix that, so we're not. So that's broken and has been for some time. But that has to be there, else the report's meaningless. Second problem has been from the start. You don't have a report out there that gives me everything. So 180 days is not useful in this problem, because what I'm actually looking for are the ones that are more than 180 days that are still in the archive, you see. So now I have no way to look any of this stuff up without running a whole bunch of like, hey, go give me a PowerShell script and let's hunt and peck and piecemeal it together. That's impossible in an enterprise. So it's understood why you're making the change. You got to give us the tools to manage it effectively. And I don't see that anywhere here.
Totally hear you, Tony. If there's reports that are unavailable, that doesn't make you go through and understand, which ones are going to be archived, accounts or data. So we'll make sure that reporting is actually functional. If not, first of all, making sure that that's the exact reporting that you're talking about is required. And then if that is not the one, what else is out there that'll help you do your job better? Totally hear that. We'll work through this process of transition. We hear the pain in terms of that you're going through as an ongoing process as well. As you mentioned, this is work that we have to do to clean up a little bit on our end, but at the same time, we need to make sure that you have all the support you needed. We were sort of anticipating some of this when we brought in the session with Trent Green a couple of months back, but I think we probably need to bring some of those owners again, maybe as a next month, as a special topic again, to answer some of these questions for you. In the meantime, we'll also follow up on the reporting and making sure that that's managed. And we'll get back to you hopefully in the next couple of days on that as well.
Great. Hey, thanks.
Thank you.
Hi guys. So we're working with a client that has Citrix shared desktops deployed. And for security reasons, they have a group policy enabled that prevents the users to have direct access to their local drives. And the problem is this stops OneDrive from working. Is this something that you're aware of? Are there any plans to support that group policy with OneDrive?
So is it Sync that has stopped working with that policy?
Yes, I mean, so it shows up, it runs, but if you try to go to if you use File Explorer to access that location, the user's blocked.
Okay.
Which group policies are in? Which group policy are you referring to?
There's a group policy that prevents direct access to the local drives. I can get a link to the policy details, but because OneDrive will only run on the C drive, there's the two options are kind of incompatible with each other.
Yeah, if you can share. It's not a OneDrive policy, correct? It's
correct.
Is it a Win?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that policy, but if you could share it maybe in the chat, that would be helpful so we can take a look.
Sure. Yeah, for security reasons and because they're shared desktops, they want to make sure that the users don't have direct access to those drives, but it just means that there's no kind of workaround with OneDrive. So it'd be good if there was a kind of a way of supporting both those options.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard about it before, but yeah, if you can drop a link, that would be helpful.
Will do. Thanks.
Thank you. And Manuel, you're next.
Thank you. I wanted to ask about the storage sense. Actually, it's available for the traditional synchronization in OneDrive, but not for shortcuts. it's the same for the entire OneDrive. So is there any plan to integrate the shortcuts with the storage sense?
Your question is specific on shortcut enhancements that we have coming up in a roadmap. Is that correct, Manuel?
No, it's specific to Storage Sense, which is a feature on Windows, which cleans up files that haven't been used in a certain amount of days that are configurable. The policy should apply to shortcuts because they're within the OneDrive. Are you saying you're seeing that if you set it to like 10 days, it's not cleaning up the files that are in the shortcuts, or you're saying you want a different threshold for shortcuts?
Different thresholds, like you can actually set up for a document library you are synchronizing in one site or another. It's the same, but with the shortcuts.
Okay, and I'm curious, can you tell me more about the scenario for needing a different like threshold between shortcuts and like the rest of the files in your OneDrive?
Usually because they are distinct sources of information. Some information is more for daily collaboration, others for just consulting guidelines or documents. And in that scenario, it's okay, for example, for guidelines and procedures like that to get removed quickly, because if it's not exactly what you wanted to do, you can just remove it out. And documents that are for collaboration, etc., usually you want them, let's say, 1 week or even longer.
Got it. Okay, that's helpful to know. I will say Storage Sense under the covers uses the attrib command on Windows, which basically determines whether the file is set to cloud only or available offline or etc. And so you could do something custom if you wanted to today, if you know kind of the path of the shortcut, for example. But yeah, we don't currently have any plans to separate out shortcuts in Storage Sense, but I wrote a note as something for us to discuss as a team.
Okay, thanks.
You, Craig, you're next.
Everybody, two questions regarding the roadmap. The offline mode for recent document libraries and shortcut folders. What does that mean, the recent document libraries? If that means if I have then multiple document libraries that I've synced, how, I guess that word recent is what's irritating me. Is there what does that mean, recent? Will those go away at a certain time after everything has been synchronized, or how is that supposed to work?
Yeah, so the word recent there refers to if you go to OneDrive Web and you go to quick access on the left side.
Okay.
If you look and you open more places, you'll see there are certain document libraries that are titled recent. That's what we're referring to there. Those will, as that change rolls out, those would be available offline through the web experience.
Okay. Is it because there's also in the roadmap that the OneDrive web app for synced document libraries is supposed to be you should be able to set those folders to offline. I'm not seeing that in the roadmap. Am I missing something, or am I misunderstanding something?
Can you repeat that again? Okay,
sorry. In the OneDrive web app, for all of the libraries, the document libraries that I've added the shortcut to OneDrive, I want to be able to synchronize so I can use those offline.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So
that's also rolling out.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. We've, as we've been rolling out, we've been monitoring the data closely, and we've been rolling it out gradually. So.
Okay. Do we have I don't see that on the roadmap. Maybe I'm missing something.
Let me go back to the roadmap. If not, it might be just missing from the slide.
Okay. Because this is something that I'm really been waiting for a long time, and it's nice to have.
I hear you. Yeah, it's something that's rolling out.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll make sure it's on the roadmap slide if it's not there.
Cool. Okay. And then one last quick question. Can you talk about what is the add shortcut improvements in the roadmap there in the next 6 months? What does that mean? Add shortcuts improvements? I've never heard a definition of what that is.
Yeah, I can talk to some of them. So first, we have some changes currently rolling out to better handle conflicts between libraries where the user clicks the sync button and libraries or folders where the user clicks add shortcut to OneDrive.
Yeah.
So in both cases, because those can't coexist for the same location, we have some changes that'll handle that better. There's also a change that's rolling out that will improve the naming for shortcuts, because we've heard feedback where, let's say, documents is like, documents could come from a lot of different libraries or locations, and today we only add the location if it's like the second.
Okay.
It's like a conflict.
Okay.
We're going to start appending the name of the location by default.
Cool. Okay, cool.
And then there's some changes specific to sync in terms of how shortcuts can be identified and discovered in File Explorer, and those we'll talk more about in one of the next sessions. But the two I mentioned are coming soon, and so you'll see those rolling out.
Super. Okay. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Lisa, you're next.
Okay, good. I'm sorry to go back to the archive thing, but I did have a question that was brought to me by those paying the bills. How will the billing cycle be triggered once this new process and this new cost is implemented? And the reason I ask is because rumor has it that the billing won't actually be able to be triggered with those archived OneDrive or unlicensed accounts and the OneDrives with them, that the billing won't actually be triggered until we request the content from some content from one of those OneDrives that have been archived, and then at that point, the billings process is triggered and then would be in place from that point forward for all archived content. So that sounds kind of gray to me. It gives us, if it's true, it gives us a window to get our ducks in a row, as long as no one says, ooh, I need a file from that archived OneDrive I can't get to anymore. But on the other hand, I don't know if that really is true. And I wondered if you might be able to speak to that so that we can make plans accordingly.
Yeah, I'm afraid, Lisa, that we might not have the expertise to answer the questions on billing related to the unarchived for this session specifically. So I'm going to ask the audience here to maybe hold off for if there's like an immediate question on this, please let us know and then we can answer it in the next week or something, within the next week, and get our PMs involved on this one, the right PM involved for that question. We're going to bring. Yes, go ahead.
I was in that session when it was presented from your product group, and I think it's correct what Lisa says, that it begins like it will everything be archived, but once you do not set any bidding on that, you don't get any payment. And once you need something from that archive, from one user or whatever, then it will start the bidding process. So that's correct, Lisa.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. I wanted to make sure it just wasn't a rumor.
No, it's also covered in that recording. You can see it in the chat. The recording is there. So you should go to the recording. It's great. It's a great recording. So just check it.
Oh, I would love to have that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's in the meeting chat, Lisa. I'll bump it up here again for folks who have missed this recording. And then please listen to it, and then we can bring the experts again next month, hopefully, to answer any remaining questions you might have after that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that particular question was in that recording. So I appreciate it, and sorry for the time spent on it.
Not a problem at all. And next one is Hampton.
And like the following caller said, I'm sorry if this has already been covered. I am an end user, and I work at a manufacturing plant. And in my use case, I use OneDrive on multiple workstations in different physical locations at the factory. And because of how they manage their user accounts, the computers run out of memory. And so what's happened over time is with these three workstations, they've gotten out of sync with each other. There's one best version. I want to replicate that out to the other two versions. How would I do that?
Sorry, can you repeat the scenario? You mentioned running out of disk space.
Sure. So like the capacity on the workstation is very small. And in the user account, I don't think they ever delete anybody's data, like people who've left the company. So it just grows and grows to where it's too big, and then I can't log into my account. But then they fixed it, and then when I return to it, after having been locked out because of memory problems, and then they reduce the size of the hard drive so I can log back in, the OneDrive is in a different state from one workstation to the next. Does that make sense?
It would be helpful to know kind of or see what the error you're seeing is, so that we can better recommend what to do in this scenario.
It's a general question. It's a general question. How would I I know what version is the correct version of OneDrive, meaning the folder structure and files are good, and I want to replicate that out to the other two workstations.
Yeah.
I was wondering if there's a best way to do that.
Yeah. So if you're running low on disk space, generally you can go into File Explorer, assuming you're on Windows, and right-click the OneDrive folder and say free up space, and that turns all the files to cloud only, meaning they're still in the cloud, and then if you double-click a file, it'll download.
Great.
So that's one thing to look at. So right-clicking and looking for the option free up space.
Okay,
there's also there's also a setting on Windows that we were talking about earlier called Storage Sense.
Yeah.
Which basically cleans up files that you haven't used, and you can configure it to 1 day, 10 days, whatever, and that'll help also clean up disk space. So those are two potential things to look at in terms of making sure that OneDrive files aren't taking up the full available space.
Okay. All right, great. That answers it. Thank you.
Amana, you're next.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I have a small question on the SharePoint Admin Center. We have advanced management actually. That's a pro. Is a paid one or it's a free one actually?
If you have Copilot, then it should get free somewhere in March. But normally that's paid until now. It's a pay-as-you-go in Syntax.
Okay, is that one user or at least an admin have a license for Copilot, or it's just any one user having license or 100 license? What is the criteria for that?
As far as I know, you need for every user that needs access to that, but I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on that part on licensing.
Steve, next.
If there isn't another Steve, it's me, I assume. Hey, Arfan. Hey,
only one, only Steve.
All right. So I think I have the answer to this already, but I want to make sure it's the right one. I've been testing the Macintosh file name rename process in preview. I love it. But if I have some feedback, how should that be provided officially? And I think the answer is through some of the emails I've been exchanging, but I want to make sure I do the right thing.
Yeah. Hey, Steve. Two things. One, the rename functionality on macOS is no longer in preview. It's actually fully rolled out.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Exciting.
Yeah, it's fully rolled out in the production ring, at least.
Okay.
And in terms of feedback, yeah, I know we have some threads where we've been chatting about it, so feel free to share any feedback you have there. I think that would probably be the best way. There's also a Mac admin community where the team is always looking. So I know we get a bunch of feedback through that. And so any Mac related feedback for everyone on the call, definitely encourage you all to join the Mac admin community and post in the OneDrive channel.
And actually, I will second that, Guy, because when we did our OneDrive deployment for the entire campus, we spent a lot of time in the Mac admin community. So I had another small question, but I will wait because there are other people who are queued up and I don't want to take away from them. So I will pause and wait.
Sounds good.
Kevin, you're next.
Very good. Thank you. Appreciate that. Always appreciate these monthly meetings. So we have a unique situation with a client of ours that I'm trying to work through. I don't know if anybody's experienced this, but so we have a number of library users have a number of libraries, SharePoint libraries that are synced. And what we've seen is folders that are empty are being automatically deleted, and they are only showing up in the PC recycle bin. They're not being reflected in like SharePoint that they're deleted at all. And this is happening to multiple people. And the client wants the empty folders. It's part of a template that they have for their project folders and things, and they want those empty folders in there. And what has to happen is if a person sees that in their PC recycle bin, they have to hit the restore button to get it back up into SharePoint. I don't know if it's it's got to be like a PC issue, or is it a OneDrive issue? Has anybody experienced this? Because it's really unique, and it's not with every PC. It's not with every person. But it is multiple.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Kevin. I haven't heard about this issue before, and so I'd love to investigate because it sounds concerning if the folders are getting deleted. So would it be okay for me to reach out to you so we can learn more?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I have a number. I have like 2 support tickets open with this, and and it's not going anywhere. They're not helpful at all. Can I ask just one thing of clarification? So if you have a library that's synced, right, and you say, and a person deletes from Windows File Explorer, then they delete the file, right? Okay.
Yeah.
That should show up in the SharePoint recycle bin, right? That's been deleted, right? Will that also show up in the PureView audit log? Like when you want to audit what is happening with that SharePoint library, you can use PureView to see who deleted files, who moved files, things like that. None of these are showing up there at all in PureView. And the gentleman told me, well, yeah, it doesn't work. I mean, should all those things
they should
happen?
definitely show up in the recycle bin. I'm less familiar with the details of the audit log, so that's something we'd have to follow up with folks who are more familiar with that. I would expect them to, but I'm not sure on the details.
Okay. I really appreciate if you could assist on this one. Just point me in the right direction or something. This is really odd.
Yeah, I wrote down your email and some of the follow-ups I'm taking notes on, so I'll reach out.
Thank you very much.
I was wondering whether or not version history will ever come back with delete all versions, if that is ever going to come back. It disappeared some point around the time that OneDrive kind of got a facelift, and it's been probably almost a year or more now that it's been gone. So if I go in to look at versions, I put an image into the chat. If I go into version history on a file in SharePoint, I have an option to delete all versions, and in OneDrive I do not. And this is really a problem for the people who are making large, it's a problem for people who have been working on videos. And they've got a large video that's creating 500 versions. They'd like to be able to delete some of those extraneous versions themselves.
And that's a very the scenario makes total sense. I actually don't know why they're different between OneDrive and SharePoint, but I'm going to follow up on that. So thanks for letting us know that delete all is handy. Totally makes sense in a world where quota matters more and more. I'll follow up on that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why it's that way.
I put it out on
We'll learn
feedback a
more.
long time ago, but it didn't gain any traction and enough votes to get anybody's attention, I guess. Thanks.
Bhavesh, you're next.
Yes, thank you. I put my question in my chat. Actually, I'm working with a client. Actually, it's a weird scenario. I have never seen it actually. On the 3 devices on that person's user took over someone else's computer, and all 3 devices, OneDrive created duplicate file names with the desktop name service tag with the word desktop, and there's so many files. I can remove them manually. I did open up a support ticket, and they told me a few scenarios. I tried that, removing the cache credential manager and reinstalling OneDrive clean from one device. Still, that did not solve the problem. I want to find out if there is a tool and anything can be done to remove those duplicates, because manual is not possible actually. That's too many files. And I don't know which file. And one file created like 10 different copies of the file. And we have this problem on 3 devices so far. I'm only working on first device right now.
Yeah, we don't have any tooling for that. I'd love to understand what caused that.
Yeah, I don't know what caused it. I'm guessing someone
Right.
took over someone else's computer on other device and probably accidentally, I don't know, syncing at the same time on all devices, trying to think that I'm making a backup copy. I'm not sure what caused it. I never seen this issue since, with any client. First time I've seen this issue ever. So I'm trying to figure it out how to resolve this.
Yeah. I'm wondering, is there anything you can do from like a scripting perspective if they all have a similar conflict name?
The support told me is Microsoft does not suggest it, but there is something he sent me a link for. There is something you can do from a PowerShell command, which but don't recommend by Microsoft. It's something third party. I did not try that yet because I'm not sure if it will cause other issue or not. So, and this is like a Dean's folder, so it's a very critical. I need to resolve this as soon as possible. And I can't seem to figure out. I mean, there is a manual process I have to do actually, but I'm trying to avoid the manual process.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we don't have any tooling that's like first party to help in that scenario, unfortunately.
So anything else you can think of, or someone can, because when I reach out to support, I mean, they just told me that's it. There's nothing you can do. You have to remove it manually.
Yeah, I think you would have to remove it yourself. We wouldn't be able to do anything. The only thing that might be interesting that we could follow up on is like what caused it, but I don't think that helps you right now in terms of getting it resolved. Yeah, we wouldn't be able to delete certain files for you, so it would have to be something that, as you said, like you would write through PowerShell, for example, if you don't want to do it manually.
Okay, thanks.
The question is it are the files the same, only with the name on it?
Right.
If it's the same, you can write a PowerShell command, but anyway, you have to look for a machine that runs perfectly and not on this where you have all the forked files. See.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a good point, Hans. You would want to make sure that there's no changes to the duplicate files, because otherwise, if you delete them, you would lose that data.
You mean original file? You mean original file?
Well, the question, in theory, they forked because there were some changes between they were not exactly the same, and so you'd have to understand like which copy has the latest data and make sure you're deleting the right one. That's why it's a little bit of a tricky situation, and probably will require some manual effort.
Well, thousands of files. I don't know how I'm going to manually remove it.
The PowerShell command could work with that. That's an easy part because you have to have the original file, and then you have to look, is there any fork file that is a dash and the computer name? And then you have to say, okay, delete the computer thing. But the thing is, I think it could be with these fork files that you have not the right, on different machines, not the right set of the put together all these things. We have in the past, we can do it manually, and now it's only it's automatically. Therefore, it could be that you have different options there.
Okay.
It's a little bit complicated.
Okay, thanks.
I'm at Nick Rosselli.
Yeah, thank you. I'm starting to see an issue in File Explorer on Windows 11 machines. So essentially browsing OneDrive folders, whether it's the user's personal OneDrive or SharePoint sites that we're syncing, there's a considerable lag within each click of a folder. The weird thing is this only happens on the right side of the Explorer window, whereas if I browse these folders on the left side, it's instant. On the right side, I'm seeing like 4 or 5, maybe even a little longer second delay on each folder. I did open up a case with Microsoft. They seem to think it was a system issue, but we have reimaged these machines and the issue does come back. I did a little digging on my own, and in some Microsoft threads, other users have seen this issue, and they're pointing to a cumulative fix that was released in November. But I'm not really sure if that's it either. Although some people have suggested removing that, but now those fixes are several months old, and I'm really not even clear on how I would just remove the fix that maybe is causing the issue in the bundle. So I was just wondering if anybody has heard anything about this, and is there some type of fix in the works?
I haven't heard about this issue, but I'd love to investigate to understand what's going on, and likely will involve our partners on the File Explorer team as well. So I wrote down your email, and I'll reach out about that one.
All right, we'll take our last question from Michael.
Yeah, I have more like a feedback. Just two things that disappeared recently. One is in iOS OneDrive app, the possibility to name the file which you recently scanned. This was used a lot by our frontline workers, that they were scanning the things on the construction site and then just uploading to the right location in SharePoint or OneDrive with the name that they wanted it to be. And now they still have this possibility, but it's being saved with the automatically created name, and then they have to go search for the file and then rename it, which is much more time consuming. And we saw that it disappeared like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, something like that. So that would be cool to bring it back, and I don't see the reason why it disappeared.
Is it on mobile?
Yeah, it is iOS mobile.
Okay,
yeah.
it will come back. It will come back that you can have it, but there's still a little bit of time we need. We have seen that the last version, but there's still a bug in there, and it will come. There are 2 versions, and you can do it as you have done in the past.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, because this is very, very good, nice feature. And the second thing, just very quickly, is the Sarah tool. I saw that it was decommissioned some time ago, and it was really good for admins to troubleshoot some crazy OneDrive issues. And right now, this OneDrive troubleshooter is from admin perspective, it's not very useful. From user, maybe, yeah, but from admin, it doesn't make many sense. So it would be
Which
good
tool
to have
were you? Sorry, which
this
tool were you talking
support,
about?
Microsoft Support and Recovery Assistant. Yeah, it would be cool to have something like that, maybe just for OneDrive, because it is part of the tool that it did for OneDrive. It was really, really good and helped with a lot of cases we had in the past.
And question for you, I've heard of the Sarah tool. I'm not super familiar with it. Was it specifically to investigate OneDrive sync issues or?
Yeah, so it was checking actually the health of the OneDrive app. There was multiple, also the registry keys, the number of files that users sync into, all the names that are not supported by OneDrive, and so on, so on. There were like, I think, 20 different things that it was checking. So for our support, for example, it was really useful because they don't have a lot of knowledge about OneDrive, but they could just run it, use it, and fix a lot of issues.
Got it. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, thanks for sharing the feedback.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we do see one last hand up, so we're at time. But Amy, if you have a quick one, please go ahead. I'd love to answer.
Yeah. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's a quick one. Whenever we on the recycle bin, and if there is already a file with the same name, it won't allow us to recover it. So if we have 1,000 files of this, it's really a big deal for us. So are we going to improve or do some change for this?
Sorry, your audio broke up in between, but I guess what we heard was you're trying to see if there's a way to improve the experience to recover files from recycle bin.
Files from recycle bin, because whenever if we got the same name, the file with the same name, it won't allow us to recover it. So
I don't know if Guy or anybody from the sync team have a context around this with files with the same name.
Yeah, the file with the same name available in the library.
Is this from the web recycle bin that people are trying to restore? Got it. I don't know.
People can recover the file from the recycle bin, and the same name already available in the library. It won't allow us to recover it. But sometimes, you know, we got files with the same name. So
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it sounds like this would be an improvement to the web recycle bin. But yeah, thanks for sharing the feedback.
Okay.
Yep, super helpful. All right, with that, we'll wrap up for this month. Thank you so much, as always, for all the questions and interesting insights. We'll make sure we'll bring in a new, our PM owner for all the unlicensed recent changes that are coming in that you're experiencing. So we'll have all the questions answered for that. And if you have any suggestions for any topics in the future, please feel to bring that as well. One last point is, if you still have any previous invites from Paul Diamond in your calendar, please delete them. The way we go through is like Rob shares any updates on new topics we have through webinar. Sign up, you register for it, and then you get an invite to join.
That's awesome.
So please do that as well. We look forward.
You have account.
All right. Thank you so much. Please look out for the next announcement on the next office hours. Until then, have a great rest of the day. Take care. Bye-bye.